This is Docuseries 2021. I don't know if I want to call this a chapter 1 or not, because it's not so much a book or a novel just yet, but it's a documentary, but it's vocal. And so there is no time limit. There is no time frame. There is no rush as to how I need to say the things that I need to say. I don't know what I'm going to say. I just know that I talk a lot. And I know that I have a lot of time to myself. And sometimes when I be brainstorming or coming up with ideas, they sound good enough to write. And if they sound good enough to write, then they sound good enough to record. And if they sound good enough to record, I mean, you get my drift, right? So here I am. Docuseries number 1. At this moment in my life, I'm studying men. And I've gathered so much information behind how men really think. And actually, I'm shocked. I'm in awe. Not so much in awe, but I'm amazed. It's very intricate. Men are really private individuals. Because they're taught to be so masculine and so manly about the way they go about life, the way they handle situations, the way they handle things, the way they handle people, persons, places. And I said the same thing twice, but that's okay. People, persons, tomatoes, tomato. But they're taught to have this certain type of development about themselves that it doesn't give them the allotted time and space that they need to grow, to learn about themselves. It doesn't give them that allotted frame to insert, this is how I feel, or this is what I would like, or I just want to know more about myself. Men are such a provider that they sometimes negate their well-beings. And I'm not going to really say that they negate their well-being, because a man is going to make sure that he's straight regardless. But I think they negate learning about themselves. And so in this docuseries, I'm going to kind of talk about the things that men don't tell you. And I'm going to talk about the things that they want to talk about, that they don't talk about. You know, because we're all human beings, and men have feelings too. They have feelings too. And I think men look for in a woman someone to confide in, someone to almost like a safety deposit box. Not to make it sound so minuscule or financially etiquette about it, or like, you know, not to make it sound so financial, but men look for a safety deposit box, which would be that woman that he can store all of his things that he don't tell us into, things that he don't want others to know you know what I'm saying, about him, his feelings, his emotions, his characteristics, what he really thinks, um, how he truly feels, what makes him sad, what hurts him, things that he has to be a man about all the time in the presence of others, those things will be broken down in the safety deposit box. And so today, it is April 25th, 2021, 6:07 p.m. on a Sunday. I decided to jot down in my journal that I'm going to write a book. And so I was prompted to record actually because I'm into Docuseries too. I think that I have a lot to say. And if you guys knew how much I talk off of camera, if you guys knew how much I talk in the presence of just myself, to be honest, me and the good Lord, if you guys knew how much I converse, and not saying that I'm talking to myself, but I talk out loud because I'm a thinker, and I verbalize and vocalize how I feel. And I even jotted that down one day in my notes on my phone. I said to myself, why do I do that? It's almost like I have a thought and I vocalize it. It's like thinking of something but still want to vocalize what was already thought. And so I just figured that it's because I'm a writer. It's because I'm gonna write a book one day. I think it's because God blessed me with this ability to be able to speak. And I've been lately learning how to communicate effectively. As I've grown, I'm 26 years old, so I'm not too old or whatever. I'm still young. I'm 26 years old, and every day I try to almost pronunciate everything that I'm trying to say, all the way down to my T's and S's. I noticed that my pronunciation has grown. I've grown in the area of pronunciating. Don't get me wrong, I have those days where I'm, from the hood. I grew up in West End. Anybody that know that area, they know, like, okay, yeah. I grew up on that side, on the west side of Birmingham. However, like I said, I've worked on my pronunciations. I am a speaker. I talk. I'm talkative. I talk a lot. And I'm very expressive. I have no problem with vocalizing how I feel. But the thing is, us as humans, men, women, children, we try to vocalize how we feel. And we go to school, we learn how to talk, we take English class, we learn these different basic things. But then when you get old enough and you're out here in this real world and you realize, okay, I still need to be taught. It's stuff that I'm learning still to this day that I didn't learn in school. And that's in the area of speaking, like communication. Yes, I loved English. English was my favorite subject. I scored all the time, all A's and B's in English. that was my forte. I was always a writer. I'm very narrative. I'm extremely descriptive, all the way down to a T. Um, um, I'm just into writing. I'm into speaking. I'm into paragraphs. Send me a text message, I might send you a paragraph back. I'm into that because I vocalize and I want people to get an understanding when they're listening to me, when they're talking with me, when they're conversing with me, when I'm conversing with others. I want everyone to leave the conversation understood, basically. And and this is not something that I just upped and learned overnight. It's not something that I just up and got overnight. It's something that has grown on me gradually over the years. I did ministry since 2014, just over Facebook. And I did that for about, it's 2021 now, maybe 6 or 7 years. I have vocalized and talked to a public audience. And so now I'm kind of taking that a step further in the area of speaking. I've had relations. I've had friendships. I've had family moments that as an individual, this has really nothing to do with anybody else. It's just things that I want to talk about, things that I want to vocalize. And I think this is a good way to start it. But back to what I was saying, it was things that when I stepped into the real world, I was like, yo, I still need to be taught, because it was things that I didn't learn in English class. It was things that I didn't learn in the area of speaking when it comes to this real world stuff, when it comes to actually dealing with people, when it comes to dealing with different personalities, when it comes to being able to read an individual. Like, talking doesn't just stop at vocalizing, but it's an intent to listen. You have to listen. All of that plays a part in communicating effectively. And these are things that should probably be taught in school, grade school, but they just kind of give you the basics of English. If you want to be an English major, if you want to go to college and become an author or writer or whatever the reason that they teach us English, so that we can learn our language in our native tongue, or whatever the reason they teach us English, right? So like I said, though, it was things in my English class that I mean, it's things out here in the real world that I didn't learn in my English class. And I think communication is and if I'm not mistaken, I think that is a study in college, communication. Which I probably would do very swell in. I mean, I'm not going to be too much about it, but I think I would do great in that class. I actually probably would love that class. Moreover, because this is not about like going back to school and learning communication, but it's things that I've been learning along the way. And I say for about just in these last few endeavors that I've encountered with certain people, I've been wanting to communicate a little better. I've been wanting to communicate effectively, not just better, but effectively as well. Now, I understand also you're not going to be able to get to everyone. I understand also that everyone is not going to receive you the way in which you would wish to be received, or in the way in which you would like them to receive you. I also understand that everyone is not going to like the things that you say. I understand that people are going to have their own opinions of you regardless of what you do. And I understand also that some will like you and some will hate you. Not to use the word hate because that's such a strong terminology, but I do realize and understand that everyone will not always be on one accord with you. However, if you follow the Spirit of God and you allow God to dwell in you and have a home in you, then we should all be on the same page. However, people still have their opinions, and people also still have their free will. So I do understand that people will say whatever they want to say. But that's not going to change how I feel about any topic or anything that I desire to talk about. That's not going to affect me in any manner other than good, because all things work together for good, especially to those who love God and are the called according to his purpose. And so, with that being said, you just take it all in. You discard what needs to be discarded, and you take in what needs to be took in, and or take it in. And so this is just a little bit about myself along the lines of communicating and what I stand for, and how I kind of got all off into speaking. I didn't even know that I liked to talk this much. I didn't know that it's not something that I just do. Like, I enjoy talking. Some people may say, oh, she talks too much. Some people may say, oh, does she ever be quiet? No, I don't ever be quiet. Why? Because there's something that needs to be said. There's something that I have to say. And I'm not going to say that I don't ever be quiet, because it also, in order to be a good leader, you have to first learn how to follow. But it also, in order to be a good leader, you have to be able to listen. And to be taught, you have to listen. So I'm not just going to sit here and pretend like I just know it all and I have all the answers and I'm always a talker and I never shut up, because I like to listen too, just as much as I like to talk. So I will talk you down or up, because we're all for the up. Like, I'm not going to say down. I'm not going to talk anybody down. I'm not going to talk down on anybody. However, I will talk you through it. So I also enjoy counseling as a means to speaking. But I will talk you through it. And at the same time, I will listen to what you have to say. So, I'm not really sure where this docuseries will end up. I don't know whose hands it'll end up in. But what I do know is that I am enjoying myself. And this is what I do on a daily basis. Might not always be recorded, but this is what I like to do. Just as simple as this talking, vocalizing, and verbalizing how I feel. I do this on and off of camera, on and off record. Like, I do this. This is me. This is the real me. And so, as I talk to you guys, and just kind of as I talk, I'm listening to myself, and these are books that I want to write. Like, for one, this is the real me. That spoke volumes. Even as I was talking to you all, I heard it. I said, yes, that's it. This is the real me. And I'm just going to write book to write or vocalize about, aka Docuseries. And you all may hear children playing in the background. You may hear like cars going by, because this is just on a daily. Wow, there's a car going by. Okay, but still, this is just on my this is just on a daily type tip. This is my thing. This is what I do, and so feel free to continue listening. I know that I know that I'm not the only listener out there. There are other listeners who may enjoy listening, such as I do. So feel free to just listen if you want to listen. if you agree with anything that I'm saying, feel free to agree and vocalize it and verbalize it and say, yeah, you right. You on everything, she right. Like, I know how y'all is, for real, for real. I mean, don't let the whole smarts and the whole vocalizing and the whole pronunciating fool you. I get it. Trust me. Like, I know it's folks out there that's like shaking their head like on everything. Like, I feel where she coming from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel her. You know what I'm saying? I feel y'all too. Like, real talk. That was up though. But anyway, so I would write a book called "This Is the Real Me," or vocalize about it, aka Docuseries. And then I would write a book about it because I liked that title too, even while I was speaking in the beginning of this docuseries one about what men don't tell you. I like that title too. But the whole point of me starting this docuseries, in actuality, you guys, I don't know where I'll post this. I don't know how I can post this or what I would do, but it'll be nice to maybe I'll try to post it to a video or make some type of vocal video where you guys can just listen, and maybe there'll be a comment thread and you guys can comment a good title for the book. The topic is what men didn't get from a woman. And I think that's something that I want to talk about, something I want to write. But I was kind of hesitant on the title of it because I didn't really want to say what men didn't get from a woman, because technically they came from a woman. If you want to get it like that, you know what I'm saying, you want to put it like that. But at the end of the day too, you know, we go all the way back to the biblical days, you know what I'm saying, woman came from man. So, you know what I'm saying, we ain't gonna say what came first, the egg or the chicken. You know what I'm saying, I'm just talking. But anyway, I think there are things that a man didn't get from a woman in the area of relationships, in the area of vocalizing their emotions, in the area of just certain things that a man didn't get, that he may have wanted to get from his mother, that he may have wanted to get from a female friend, that he may have wanted to get from a spouse or a significant other, that he may have wanted to get from just some female in his life that he look up to or look out for, or female that he looks to for answers, an advisory female. And so this would be the book that would tell him all the things that he wanted to know in the area of how he feels and what's really going on with his emotions, and how to, I mean, it's going to be real intricate. It's going to be kind of diverse. I'm going to try to make it fun, but I'm really trying to hit on those points because there are men out here who need to be healed in the area of vocalizing, in the area of effectively communicating, in the area of saying how they feel, in the area of opening up and not being so stern about their emotions, because emotions are like a fluidity. They must flow. And men are taught to be so stern and firm about how they feel, they don't allow themselves to feel. Some men are walking around here and feeling the minimum, when they could be so, men can thrive so much more in the presence of the right woman. Why do you think so many and not to really hit on the level of celebrities and things of that nature, because this could be any relationship, whether celebrity or whether just regular straight civilian or whatever the case may be, not to be so militant about it, but there are so many things and so many aspects to a man that we have to remember, because we must still remember that we're human. even though he's a man, he's still a human, and he has feelings, and he has emotions, and he has things that he want to talk about that he's not able to talk about. There are things that he want to vocalize that he isn't able to vocalize because everybody around him sees him as the man, the provider, the protector, the stern one, the firm one, the Mister put his foot down all the time, the lay down the law, lay down the rules, the authority figure. And so this would be the book to kind of help a man to relax. You get what I'm saying? Not to demasculate. We're not trying to demasculate men. We're trying to give them a better understanding of what they feel when they have feelings. Even if it's for a significant other, even if it's for, a lady that they like. And I'm not, saying significant other as if I'm condoning anything other than man and female relationships. I'm just saying like it's supposed to be, man and woman. Females have a tendency to I'm not going to say a tendency as if it's something that is just done all the time, but females have the power, and I don't want to make it sound so strong, like, you get what I'm saying, or like strong-willed, you get what I'm saying, but females have the ability, that's a very perfect word, to open a man in a way where he can feel, not really open a man, but help him to be or understand his level of vulnerability. I guess that's a better way to put it. Because men, although they're men, they still have vulnerable moments. But like I said, and when a man is growing up, when he's taught to be strong, he's taught to be hard, he's taught to be, a certain way, a particular way. But when does he have time to feel? When does he have time to, express himself in the area of emotion? And I'm not saying that I'm trying to like make the man soft. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, like I said, we're not trying to demasculate men. We're trying to help them understand themselves. Or another aspect of themselves, because I think men are amazing. I think they are so amazing. I think it is so much more to a man, and if women knew, and I also will be writing a counterpart book to this as well. And let me write that down too before I forget what I said. I said what men don't tell you. Is that what I said? Feel free to comment. What men don't tell you what men don't tell you. Book to write. And you might hear me writing in the background. You might hear this pen. It's a very colorful pen, by the way. If anyone is interested in pens, I collect pens too. That's how you know I'm a writer. I got this thing for collecting pens. Like, it's weird. Like, I have journals and books and pens and pencils, and I mean, not really pencils. I'm just all for pens. Really cool pens, but not to be weird, but this is the real me. Books to write or vocalize about. AKA Docuseries. yeah, so what I'll do. Oh yeah, but like I was saying, I do plan to write a counterpart book to that for women. Now, y'all, I'm just saying, don't get your hopes all up. I mean, I sound really enthused about this. I sound really like determined. I sound really like I got it all together. Like this firm, like stuck to it. That's what I'm gonna do. But who knows? I might change my mind tomorrow. I might be like, you know what? Psh. Like the y'all know on Fresh Prince of Bel Air when him and his homeboy used to shake hands, they throw it back real good. I might be like, psh, you know what I'm saying? So you never know how it be. Like, I mean, I could be a talk show host. I could be a radio what they call it, character, I guess. Is that a radio personality? That's what I'm trying to say. I can be, this can go in many directions. Who knows? This is just I'm just starting out. This and I've done docuseries before, especially in the area of music because I love music and I'm a singer songwriter. I like to play instruments. I play the piano. I have played the saxophone. Um, I sometimes think I sound like a saxophone. I play the alto saxophone and I am an alto. So all of that stuff kind of correspond and go along with why I started the docu series. If anybody is interested on how I got started with the docu series, because I found myself always vocalizing when listening to artists about how they sound, about the beat, about the instruments, about the tempo, about how the song makes me feel, about what the artist could have done, what the artist didn't do, or about what the artist shouldn't have done and what the artist should have did. I always find myself vocalizing in that area of kind of like a critic, but not bad criticism, just constructive criticism. I give credit where credit is due. If it's good quality music, and I like it, they get an A+ for me. If it's something that I be like, they could have did a little better, they could have went a little harder, then I vocalize that. Even while listening to music, I could just be sitting at home, doing my thing, chilling, and I'd be like, you know what, that person could have did this, or they should have did it like that, or I would have done it this way, or if I had the opportunity to, like it, I would have, that's just it. It woulda, coulda, shoulda. I woulda did it this way, that, and third, and I could just do it, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing it, and so, like I said, the whole docu series started off with me listening to music, and I found myself vocalizing how I felt about it. Whether I knew who the artist was, whether I knew who the producer was, whether I knew the engineer, whether like I talk about the beats and what instrument they could have put right there in that little segment or that little intro or that outro or um just different things like that. But that's just how the docu series started, and I had noticed how like in some I the thing is the idea came from if I was to write music in one of my songs, I would like for how some artists kind of have where they're just kind of talking in the beginning, kind of like an intro where they're just having some type of special moment or something of a serious matter that they want to vocalize and let people know. And I kind of thought about it like that. I had came to that conclusion like, yo, if I was to do music, one of these docu-series, either a clip of it or a segment of it could be on one of my songs if I wrote music like that, or if I tried to push music or try to do anything in the area of music. I was like, one of these docu-series could be an intro, one of them could be an outro, one of them could be a clip, just something small or similar as a simple phone call to my grandmother. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just being honest. Like, my grandma, she calls me. I don't really have people that call my phone. Yeah, my phone can jump. I can make it jump. But at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest. Nobody calls my phone except my grandmother. Grateful. Blessed by it. My children, blessed by it. My mom, she calls. I can't forget her. My mom also calls me. I was raised by my grandmother, um, and so I'm her fourth child. She only had three. She had my uncle, my auntie, and my mama. But I'm her fourth child, and at the end of the day, she calls me morning, noon, and night. And surprisingly, she hasn't called me today, so I'm gonna go call her and get on her about why she hadn't called me, because that's my baby, and she needs to call me and check in. But yeah, so that's my grandmother, and I even thought about, because I've heard artists do it before, like how dudes make their songs and it could be like a voicemail in the background of a girl that didn't call him and left a message on his phone or whatever. But I didn't heard like I think her name is SZA, if I'm not mistaken. Some people say SZA, some people say SZA. I say SZA. But she had a voicemail, or was talking with her grandmother one day. Um, if I'm not mistaken, that was her song, and her grandmother was pretty much like, if you I was gonna try to impersonate the way her grandmother sound, but I can't really do it because I don't know exactly what she said, but she was pretty much talking along the lines of, well, just because you don't like me, doesn't mean that you have to, make a big deal about it, make a fuss about it. She was saying something like that. And I just kind of thought that was pretty cool. And I'm like, yo, I might do something like that one day or whatever. Just even if you having a simple conversation with your parents or your grandmother or whomever, like, even if it's my children, the laughter of my kids is a blessing to me. Even if it's just me listening to them laugh on a track, or a video or a movie or a clip or a recording or whatever I decide to put their laughter on, or them laughing on. It's just little moments like that. It's plenty ways to capture a moment and make it last forever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, um, how they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but just imagine if you could vocalize. Imagine if you could imagine if you could put that picture in detail. Imagine if you could talk about that picture. You know what I'm saying? It is worth 1,000 words, but just imagine how you would sound vocalizing that picture. Imagine how you would sound, uh you get what I'm saying? Putting that picture in detail. Well, I did this on that day, and it was sunshine. The sunshine is bright, and it was purple in the sky, and it was also pink. Anything like that. It was pink and purple in the sky. The clouds looked like cotton candy. The grass was as green as eggs and ham. You know what I'm saying? Like anything. Just imagine though how you could like vocalize a picture, how you could put it in detail, and that'll show you like the type of person that you are, the way that you think. That'll show you how diverse you are. Like, we can't just limit ourselves to one talent or gifting, because God has blessed all of us and many of us with different talents and giftings. And at the end of the day, we just have to learn. It takes learning about yourself. It takes getting that time alone with yourself and learning about yourself and studying yourself, studying what you like, studying what you don't like, studying how you feel, studying how you don't feel. You know what I'm saying? But I guess that's still in the area of studying how you feel. So, these are just things that we have to kind of take into account. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the type of person where I'm gonna promote growth, healthy growth. I'm going to promote health. I mean, I love talking about health, and wealth. I promote growth, especially if it's for the betterment of the individual. I'm into like so many things. I mean, I'm not gonna just kind of give it all to you guys in the first docu-series, but y'all see where I'm going with this. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, I'll be posting this on some social media, on a social media. I don't even know which one just yet. Um, but when I do post it, y'all come in and let me know how y'all feel. Come in and tell me what you guys think. if y'all into it, or if y'all are all for it, or if this sounds like something that I could do, if this is my thing. Like I said, at the end of the day, people are going to say whatever they're going to say, and this is just me taking a step further in the direction in which I would like to go. Whether it is, to be honest, it's anything, because at the end of the day, whatever direction I do decide to go in, I'm gonna have to talk about it. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to vocalize it. So at the end of the day, it's like, um this is just a step closer to me and what I'm going to be doing and what I decide to do in the long run. Because I will talk about it, and it will be vocalized and verbalized. And I mean, if I decide to do so, not just because anybody think they're gonna make me talk about anything. Because if I don't want to talk about it, I'm not gonna talk about it. Just to put that disclaimer in there, um, that little small disclosure. But anyway, yeah. So I appreciate you guys taking the time out to listen to what I have to say. Even if I was quiet for a moment, I appreciate you guys staying to the end and listening to me. Just kind of tell you guys about how I am. And that little knocking noise in the background, that's my foot. It's kind of soothing. Not to be weird, but I'm just saying, like, I'm like, this how I am. Like I said, this is the real me. I'm into stuff like that. I'm into music. Just how simple that little tap of the foot is, just listen. And I'm not sure if y'all can hear that, but I could easily make a song off of that, just like that. I could write a poem about it. Like, it's so much could be done with that tempo and that level of tone in these shoes. Like, I mean, not to be so much about it, but I mean, or materialistic. I don't want to really be materialistic about it, but I have on some Steve Maddens, and so the way that they sound, they are giving off like a, I can't even think of the terminology for it, but they're giving off a coded sound, if that makes sense. It's kind of like coded, and so it can be used for anything. But yeah, anyway, not to get off track or whatever, but yeah, I appreciate y'all listening to what I have to say, and I will be doing more docuseries soon, and I don't know if I'll make an album of docuseries. Like, I was told one day that we were doing a photo shoot, my auntie and I. She was doing a photo shoot, and I was trying to take her photos as well because I'm into photography also. And as I was talking to her, I noticed that if you describe how a person should feel and vocalize how they should feel while taking the photo, they would hit the pose immediately. They would it's just something about hearing how you're supposed to pose. You get what I'm saying? Like, because I would say something like, and I mean, and to hit on this subject, I'm just saying because I was told that I had a nice voice. Um, it was kind of like soothing, and I thought about, like, when they told me this, I was like, wow, I didn't really pay attention to it. I didn't really know that I had a nice voice until they told me. But they was like, yo, your voice, it sounds soothing. It's like, it's so cool or whatever. They like, yo, like, it just made me think. When people give me a compliment like that, I think about, wow, what can I do with that? You know what I'm saying? And like I said, you know how some people have those little videos of where they be doing their whole little affirmations and stuff like that. And sometimes, I mean, people make videos of like storybook telling, storybook telling, or like lullabies or anything like that. So it just it all depends on what I want to do, and how I want to vocalize and verbalize, and talk and speak. But yeah, I had noticed in the area of photography, if you talk, and this is for my photographers out there, but if you talk in a way where you're describing how you want your what's it called, it muse, not to make it sound so not to make it sound so I mean, that's what it's called. There's no other way to put it. That's what it's called. But and I'm gonna stop tapping too because I know that there are people out there that's probably like, yo, that tapping noise has got to stop. She gonna have to chill with that before I continue to listen to this any further. So shout out to y'all too, cause you know what I'm saying, I got something for everybody. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I'm gonna stop the tapping or whatever. But it was really soothing to me. So at the end of the day, it's like, am I gonna please y'all or am I gonna please myself? I'm just playing. But anyway, yeah, I respect people's wishes. Like I said, I mean, if I was, it almost sounded to me like a raindrop. Perfect. Ooh, perfect example. It sounded like a raindrop on the banister or awnings of a house, or like a raindrop dropping into a gutter. So it was like, you get what I'm saying? So yeah, but that's just how I think. That's just how I think. I love the way the rain sounds. I love the way it's just so many things. But like I said, we got a long time to talk about what I like and the real me. So I'm not gonna just pour it all out into the first docuseries. But this is just to give you a little inside look of how I am and what I like, and what I'm thinking about doing. So like I said, I appreciate you all, and stay tuned for more.